All right. Good morning. Welcome to the jungle. I'm really excited because this morning I have Stefanie Diaz with me. And I was thinking about this because I think we've been around kind of in the same circles, but I don't think you've ever been on my podcast.
No, I haven't. I have been on podcasts for the people that you produced for several times.
Yes.
But no, this is our first time jumping in, you and I.
Awesome. All right. I am super excited. So let's get started. And I'm going to go through, these are the three things that Stefanie's doing right now because you're a very busy, amazing woman. So let's go through a couple of these.
Super busy, yes.
So you're a founder and investor relations consultant with Powered by Verve.
Yes.
Creator host of She Conquers Capital, which is your new podcast.
Yes.
And founder, speaker, power presenter coach of WOA, the Women Only Experience, which I've had the opportunity to attend.
You have, yes.
So tell us a little bit about all of those, all the things that you do, and then we'll get into today's topic. So Powered by Verve, which is also a new venture for you. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Powered by Verve is an investor relations firm. And so within that firm, I work with companies as they are raising capital. Some who are startup in their seed, through Series A, and then also some venture capital firms as they are raising capital, that they're going to deploy in their funds. I have been, in and around the world of tech and capital raising since about 2015, when my podcast, Mastermind Your Launch, that other podcast, kind of took me in that direction. And so, I've been very, exposed to the world of raising capital. But it wasn't until 2016 that a VC actually approached me. I was doing a lot of marketing consulting at that time, and they were launching a new VC fund and needed branding, and I worked with them on that. And then more recently, I actually spent about a year as head of investor relations for a rapidly growing fintech company, and at the same time doing screening and due diligence for a local angel investor group. And so all of that really gave me, a seat at the table for those conversations that happen, and really seeing the transactions and being a part of that and playing a big role in that. And so with that, and then with my perspective as a woman, as a Latina, and as, and someone who has worked with startup entrepreneurs for a really long time, it really opened my eyes to a lot of things that I believe that, startup founders are missing, and, as they're raising capital. And I have this flavor. I got my flavor. I have my, my voice is out in the world. I love public speaking. I love creating experiences. It's been a big part of my journey to date. And so I felt like there was a real opportunity as people are raising capital to bring a new energy to that capital raise that really draws investors in, that really creates long-term strategic partnerships in a moment when they need it most. And that's really the spirit behind the title, Powered by Verve. Verve is spirit, enthusiasm, vigor. And so that's really what I do. I bring a new energy, as well as, all of the tactical, here is how it's done. Here's how it's been done. And maybe here's how you'll break the mold. And so that's what I love doing with my clients in that.
Yeah. And I feel like that really inspired your new podcast. So tell us about that.
It's so funny. Yeah, I had a podcast back in the day for 2.5 years, over 100 episodes. I love podcasting in that platform. And I always thought I will return to podcasting, but I wouldn't force it, it will just come. And I was not looking to launch a podcast right now, but it just, you get those lightning bolt, idea, the light bulb went off, and it was She Conquers Capital. And that felt very aligned because I have WOA, which we'll talk about in a second, and I have Powered by Verve. And those are very two different aspects to my work in the world. And I feel like She Conquers Capital is the bridge. She Conquers Capital is that meeting point between the two. And so She Conquers Capital, inspiration behind that is it is not, first I'll tell you what it's not, and then I'll tell you what it is. She Conquers Capital is not a platform where you're going to hear women talking about, we only get this percent of funding, and, and talking about those statistics, as real as they are. It's not a platform to complain about the status quo. She Conquers Capital is a place where anyone can go to learn about the process of capital raising, can go to learn about how people have successfully closed. We have $2, $5, and $500 million capital raises. Go there to learn. And oh, by the way, it's the voices of women. And so it's just this like subconscious nod to the fact that women are playing a large role in the industry of capital markets, and you can learn from them. They have a lot of information to impart. And so that is what She Conquers Capital is. It's a place where everyone can go to learn, and over time, they're going to just, they're going to be nurtured and educated through the voices of women. That's what it is.
Awesome. And then that really trickles down into WHOA, which is the Women Only Experience. And you've got a virtual conference coming up July 17th through the 19th.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that, what people can experience. And then we're going to dive in like a little bit of a teaser to your topic, which is Reveal Your Voice. So tell us about WHOA.
Yes. So WHOA is, that's my baby. WHOA was founded in 2017, at a really interesting moment in my life. I had come from the world of pharma. I was heavily in the tech industry at that time, male dominated environments. I was thriving. And while I had my network of women, I was really cool to just like be killing it in the boys club. Like I was fine, but some things happened in my life and, around that moment. And it just really, it gave me this calling, like I really want to work with women. I never intended for so much of my work to shift. I thought I'd host a couple events on the side, but WHOA, when I hosted the very first main event in April of 2017, it was so well received. The response was overwhelming. And I remember, we hosted an event and I remember a woman walking up to me after like, how do I join? And I was like, you're here. Wait, it's not a membership. WHOA has been really this like dancing with the universe experience. Like it kind of tells me what it wants to be. And I just kind of follow. And it's a community. So I really have to listen in order to build, what is needed for them. But WHOA has been, we are most known for our main event, which you've attended in the past. I describe it as Ellen meets Oprah for, ambitious women. And we dance. Yes, there's like choreography and you dance. Women of all ages and never having danced before, we all gather together. There's always a really amazing speaker. There's always a closing meditation and affirmation section. And so WHOA has been this really high energy experience that I've delivered in person many times before. And it's funny because going into 2020, I knew that WHOA needed to evolve. I had done 10 main events since 2017 and hosted, meetups and soul circles and all kinds. And I knew that it was needing a fresh energy, and a reinvention. And I had actually already declared that WHOA would have a conference this year. Now, I didn't have any plan, but I do that. I just declare things like, I'm going to host a conference. But I don't need space. It was a 3-hour evening event. It wasn't enough time for us to get to the depth of really what I wanted women to walk away with. And so I knew it had to expand. When this whole virtual shift happened, it took me a minute to realize the opportunity that existed. I started seeing these virtual conferences, become very, very mainstream. And I said, wow, this is the moment to really, I feel like it was put in my lap. You wanted a conference. Here you go. It's never been easier. And so with that, what I have done is this conference is really a moment for me to teach. I want to teach women the power of their voice in being a public speaker. And public speaking can be on a stage, it can be on a live stream, it's everywhere. It's in your Instagram stories. So how do you do that? How do you build a community around your message? How do you gather and nurture your community? How do you know the best way to serve them? There has been so much evolution in WOA, and there have definitely been parts of the journey where I got it right, and there were parts of the journey where I had to learn a lot. And so, really, I want this conference to be the place where I teach women what I have learned. And there is going to be a WOA main event built into the first night. So we will be dancing and doing that experience that we're so known for.
Awesome. Well, I love the topic, which is reveal your voice. And so this morning we're going to dive into kind of 3 key pieces of that. Mm-hmm. And something that you really alluded to, kind of talking about how this conference came about, especially during this time of 2020 and COVID still happening, and we're all really joining things virtually. The first piece is that we have a new voice.
Yes.
So we've changed, right? And I think I've said it. I probably stole it from someone. I certainly didn't come up with this, but something that I have repeated is if we're still talking the same way in 2020 that we were in 2019, then we've missed everything that 2020 has revealed to us.
Yes. Absolutely. This is a moment of intense change. And so if you're not changing with it, I agree, you're missing some real beautiful things that are here for you. It's not, it's bringing up a lot, and there are a lot of challenges, but it is for your growth. It is for your forward movement. And so you have to lean into it. And we're seeing it everywhere. I mean, even, the biggest corporations have a new voice right now. And I'm really loving it. I'm fascinated as I'm watching it unfold. And these new voices are here to stay also because everything, the status quo just, has completely dissolved. Truly, truly new voices can pop up out of nowhere and shoot right to the top. I think I've also seen some people that I felt were a really strong voice kind of, retreat a bit. And sometimes we have to do that. We all have moments where we're in it, but then we have to refuel and recharge and reflect before we, emerge. But it's happening so fast right now and with so much intensity and disruption. And also all of our intention is on it. Like we're all watching the show. It's like the Super Bowl commercials, like when we all gather to see what's happening, we're really all in observation mode. Whereas, before you can really get into your day-to-day routine and miss some of the things that are going on. But this is a moment where, the evolution of our culture, all eyes are on it. And so it's really a beautiful chance that anyone from anywhere can really see themselves and their voice have a big reach and a big impact faster than it would have in any other situation.
I love that. So the second is fears, right? And kind of what that word means to me when I'm thinking through it is we're worried about saying the right thing. We're worried about saying the wrong thing. We're worried about saying the thing that if I say this, is it worth saying? Is it going to truly inspire or get down to someone's core or, encourage a change or even just an open-mindedness of sharing different opinions or kind of how we're struggling in different ways and handling those struggles in different ways. So tell us what fear has to do with revealing your voice.
So fear, there's so many different levels of fear, and there's so many, reasons behind the fear. There could be a fear of vulnerability. When you really start to hit on something that moves you deeply, it can come from a very vulnerable place. And to share that, sometimes you need a safe space, and maybe the internet is not always the safest space,
Yeah,
to share
that's a good point.
yeah, to share some really personal things. I understand that. And then there can be a lot of fears if you are, you're sharing your voice in your business. Will this yield the result that I'm looking for? And there's all these, fears of failure. And so, fear can attack from any point of view. I mean, it just looks for the little crack that you leave, and then it enters, and then, it expands. And so what I really feel like it's important to do is understand your intention. What is the reason that it is important for you to put out your voice, and release the outcome. If you are doing it for the likes and for the comments and for the dollars and the leads, then and you're so attached to that, then you can definitely find yourself in fear mode a lot and analyzing a lot, and that can really hinder the beauty of the voice that you really have to share. And so, you really need to connect down deep within to what you feel you need to express. Let that be the only question. What desires to be expressed through me right now? And that may lead to a complete shift in your business. If you feel like, wow, what I really want to talk about right now is actually completely different than what I've been talking about. But let that drive and the fear of, will anyone care and all of that. We're looking for authenticity. We want real voices. And even if I don't agree with you completely, I can have a lot of respect for the fact that you had the courage to say what you said. And especially if you do it with a lot of love, I feel like you will be met with a lot of love. And if you have to find a safe space to do that, doing it with people that you really trust first, then do that. Build that confidence to take it and grow it and expand it and amplify it. You don't have to go all in, right at first, depending on, where you're starting at today. But build that muscle of realizing that your voice is important. And this goes so much farther beyond business. When you claim your voice and you really begin to understand how right it is, how much you can trust the feelings that want to be expressed in your point of view, you will be a force in every aspect of your life. You will live your truth in every aspect of your life. And that's an important journey for everyone, not just to grow your business. I mean, honestly, that's the last and final reason you should ever, truly go through the process of knowing your voice and expressing your voice. It is a life lesson first and foremost.
Yeah. And I love what you said about people want realness, right? They just, well, number one, we just want the truth, right? We've got information coming from us at all sides. And so we want the truth, the real truth from real humans. And at the basic level of what we're experiencing now with COVID, right? We're doing all these Zoom meetings, sales calls, and we've got dogs coming in and cats and kids, and we're entering into each other's homes, right? Like even my team members, I've seen the inside of more of their homes, and even when they've been able to travel and stay with family, right? They're like, oh yeah, I'm in my childhood room now. And we're getting that realness and being able to connect. So I love that. And I feel like we're more accepting of that. Like we understand the kids are going to rush in and the cat tail is going to come across the screen and your most, important, you're making your presentation, your point, and here the cat comes. So I appreciate that. We're all appreciating each other in that way. I feel like we're showing more grace.
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And it's opening a door for people to really design their lifestyle in a new way. These tools and this virtual access has been there, but there's been and I just love that that's falling away and really opening up for people to make different choices in the future. When everything returns, I think a lot of people are not going to return to exactly how it was. They're going to really enjoy what they've created in this moment.
Yeah. All right. So our last point for today is, where should I be? So we've had like TikTok. I feel like TikTok really became a thing in quarantine because we all had the time to figure it out. But there's
I did figure it out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did. It took, well, I think I
I've only
did.
done one or two, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was. And they take more time than you think. Like it takes a hot moment to do a TikTok.
You knew how many times I replayed that choreography to get it just right. Yes.
Yes. And it's so there's that, which I feel like kind of birthed this appreciation for video and taking the time to do social media because it does take time. Mm-hmm. But of course we've got streaming platforms now, right? We can't be in person right now. So like you and I are streaming online. We have Zoom, and then there's like this new term called Zoom fatigue. And everybody's like, where even should I be? Is TikTok important? Should I be doing this streaming thing? Yeah. And I feel like that's another piece of the conversation of putting your voice where it most makes sense for you.
Yeah, there's a couple of different ways that you can approach that question of where should I be. So first, where is your audience? Where are the people that you are trying to reach? Especially if you have been building an audience for a while, be mindful when a new thing pops up that you don't abandon them. If you've built a really strong tribe on Facebook and you're now all into Instagram or TikTok, what happens to that following? Are you expecting them to follow you there? So be mindful of those choices. It can be really easy to follow a shiny object and not realize the importance of what you have already built. And so, that may not be a clear black and white. There may just be some gray area there, but you really need to be mindful of that. Also, I would say, where can you be consistently? Consistency is so much a part of this, because, it's one thing to have a piece of content and that really connects with people. But what I really appreciate in the thought leaders that I, follow and the ones that I really follow, I love the people who create within me a habit. Like they come on at the same time, or they send out that email at the same time, or, whatever. And I have, as I watched them, I'm like, look what you just did. You got me looking forward to that. Yes. And now you're in my routine. How did you do that? Yes. And so I think that that's really something. If you want to build a new voice and you want to, try something new, try consistency and see where that takes you.
I love that. There's a podcast I listen to every morning when I'm getting ready for work.
And you love seeing that it published.
Yes. And I do. I look forward to it. I have my routine. I'm going to go down. I'm going to get my coffee. I'm going to do my makeup, my hair, and I've got this podcast, and it's kind of a funny one, and I'm laughing, and it just kind of sets the tone for the day. But I love it, and it's totally part of my routine.
Yeah,
totally part of my routine. Awesome. Stefanie, if we want to attend your virtual conference, again, that's with Whoa, Reveal Your Voice. It's coming up July 17th through the 19th. How do we register for that?
Yeah, so you can go to thewomenonlyexperience.com. And all of the information for the conference is there. Tickets are only $47 to join. 3 days of really, beautiful training around, different methods for you to first draw out a new depth to your voice. So even if you've already been out there speaking, or if you're just getting started, you're going to hit on something new. And that's really important. And then, what are the logistics, the tech behind getting it out there virtually, the processes for really building a community, the monetization strategy, especially around events, all of those things we'll dive into in our 3 days together. And there will be a lot of interaction. You can expect to meet new, amazing women along there with you, and there will be dancing.
Awesome. I love it. Steffi, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast this morning.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no, and for all of our listeners, we've tagged Stefanie, so you can go check out all the awesome, totally cool things that she's doing, and including her podcast, She Conquers Capital, and the different things that she's involved with now. So awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate this. You're a truly amazing female founder doing amazing things, Stefanie. So thank you.
As are you. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Thank you, listeners. This has been The Jungle. We'll see you next time.